Can you carry me?
I'm going to touch myself and cast light.
Cyrus, no!
I trust your whiskey taste. I trust your judgment.
So it can speak. We get its tongue now.
I'm not sure there's been an occasion where any of us have been particularly stealthy.
It probably wouldn't have worked, but we should have tried. Why are we so stupid?
I think the lesson from this is that I need to stop listening to you guys.
And it's at this moment we realize the DM is an idiot. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 10th session of As Below, So Above. Where we last left our heroes, they were making their way up Mount Blood to find some sorceress that they were told by a very warm-hearted and trusting individual that this sorceress could aid them in fixing the crystal in some way, either by getting a new one or potentially taking off the crustacean on this, or the crusting, or whatever you call it, that has formed around this crystal. You guys met a somewhat friendly individual who offered you safe passage across the system of lava rivers, but you chose to not take their vessel and their kind offer, and then you instead wandered across these lakes treacherously, but you took a long time to do it so as to not hurt yourselves, and much time had passed. It's hard to really keep track of time when you're so focused on making sure that you're not dying in a pit of lava, but you guys made it across, and I believe that's where we ended last session, unless my memory is foggy. But is there anything else that I forgot that you guys remember from last time that you want to add to that recap? No?
That guy
Nope.
was not friendly.
He was fine. He would have been okay.
I'm pretty
You're
sure
using
he was
using
friendly, but
words
an
like
asshole.
friendly and kind offer. I think those are active things. At best, he was like absolutely neutral,
Ambivalent.
most likely malevolent.
His very ambivalent offer.
Hey, it was a generous offer of safe passage across the rivers. I don't know.
No, it was
There
not
was, there was
safe.
no safety.
It was a generous
safe,
offer
not
with
generous.
mixed intentions.
It
He
would have
wanted to
been
watch us
faster.
die.
No, he
If
wanted
we
the
died.
potential to watch us die.
Exactly.
He wasn't going to make us die. He wasn't going to hurt us himself.
He just
He just
wanted
knew-
us to die.
He knew we would be engaging in a risky activity, and he was offering for us to engage in a risky activity with him within eye and earshot.
He
That's-
wanted to see us in pain. Yes.
He's no worse than people that sit front row at a USC fight, guys. That's all he wanted. He just wanted to be close to the action.
Exactly. They don't throw the punches
Mhm.
themselves. They just want to see the blood.
Exactly.
Can't
We
fault him
didn't
for
want to
that.
throw any punches, though.
So
So
we're
we
at,
took the
we're at
long
the
way.
base of Blood Mountain is what I have as the last thing in my notes with a couple exclamation points on it. And my memory, it was almost like the base camp of Everest setup, or is there like no one else around and it's just like remnants of old camps?
So I guess when I said base camp, I was just thinking like it's the flat part before it gets very steep and treacherous terrain, not in the sense of, there's a whole bunch of people camping out there and there's lots of inhabitants and stuff like that. No, it's barren. It's as uninhabitable as any other place you have been so far in this world. So all of that atmosphere elements that we've had in the past still apply here. But there are three, if I recall correctly, I think I said there were three distinct paths. One looked like it would take a long time, but it was very easy. There was the middle of the road kind of path that looked like there'd be some scrambling, but you'd be okay. More or less, it might be a little faster, but there might be some harsh penalties for failure. And then there's the sheer cliff face that you think if you could climb this without failure, it would be the quickest way up. But, that's a long way to go, and the penalty for failure gets ever more severe as you get higher and higher. But, I mean, it's just 1 point of bludgeoning damage.
Exactly.
It's only going to count as one exhaustion if you fall.
If I remember,
10,000
there
feet.
were also some demon figures around each of the moderate and the hard paths. It wasn't just
Yes.
the difficulty of the terrain.
Yeah, I guess you're correct there, Cyrus of the Houses of Roll. I can't count enemies as part of the terrain, but I was.
Okay. Well,
I guess unless they're Ents, that's really unfair.
Hmm.
I think given our precious cargo, I think we should be safer rather than sorrier
I
and
feel like
sorer.
I feel like Pharaoh said something wise that convinced us all.
Yep. I think
But-
Hati was
It's been
convinced.
so long.
It's been so long.
Can you reconvince us there, Vero?
You have to repeat everything you said.
I was
Word for
about to
word.
say, well, we're already dead. We can't die again,
Oh
can we?
no. That's what I was looking
Hati's like,
for.
oh, let's go. Hard path.
I don't know. The
Uh,
only speeches coming to mind are things about the easy path being for cowards.
mm, um,
That does not sound like Barrow to me.
yeah.
Is
I could
Bo
be
still
con-
with us?
No, Bo stayed behind. He was going to stay at the
Okay.
gorge. He did not strike you as the kind of person that adventures.
Yeah,
He's a baker.
Jens thinks it's a very good thing that Bo is behind.
Yeah. As far as NPCs, you guys kind of lost track of Randy like 3 or 4 sessions ago. Slash, you guys
happened to
forgot
Randy?
about him. Yeah, you don't know. Your guys' passive perception is not high enough to know what happened to Randy. He was there and then he wasn't.
Off at one
He
point.
took a different fork in the tunnels. Who knows?
Yeah.
He
Okay,
went
okay.
back for Whiskey Brothers.
Did I lose a hand last session? I'm having a vague memory of having lost a hand. It was just a pinky. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
you
Just
were
pinky.
talking about submerging your hand in lava for a hot second.
Sweet.
For a
And I
hot
think-
second. I did it first, but in secret, so Samson didn't see, and then
Right.
boldly declared that he would do it.
See, I remembered Orpheus, and I thought that I wanted to one up or something, so I did the whole.
Well,
But
No, good to know. Just a pinky. That's good.
Orpheus, you put in just the tip of your finger that had already had the skin burned off from the acid, right?
Yeah,
So now, yeah, you just have a
Right.
nub finger, right?
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. Mutilations,
Okay.
good things to keep track of.
So, I know what Vara's gonna say. Well, friends, as I was just saying a short few moments ago, our good friend gave us stern advice on which way we should go up this mountain. And he told us, you folks, you go right on up the easy path, unless some monstrosity or other calamity stops you from doing that. And I'm sitting here looking at 3 different paths up, and it looks mighty clear up the easy path. I think we would do a great insult to our friend to ignore his wise advice on which way up we should go in this mountain.
well said.
You're so wise.
Can't
Every
argue
time.
with that.
Ugh.
All right, I think we've got majority there at least. So easy path it is.
Take our time. And we already
right.
like took our time
We
just
already
getting
took our
here.
time. Might as well take some more.
We're
Exactly.
clearly in no rush.
Speaking of not being in a rush and taking your time, I just wanted to give an opportunity if you guys wanted just to do a little like short or long rest to clear up any wounds or something you guys might have, because I think some party members have at least 1 level of exhaustion.
Yep.
But I don't know if you guys want to do that or not. I think Jens, you have 1 level.
Yep.
Yes,
Looks
you
like I have
do as
one.
well.
Did we not take a long rest and maybe like level up last time?
I think you guys did do that because I remember
We
everyone
did it
getting
with
spells and stuff like that.
Oh,
Yeah, because that's when we
Yeah.
got all our spells was at the end of last session, but I can't remember if we said we were going to take a long rest later and then get them, or if we actually did agree to a long rest.
You
I
guys
think
took
we,
a long.
we,
You're right,
we took
actually,
the
yeah.
long rest with Bo, yeah.
With Bo.
So I think you guys hadn't taken a long rest after that is what happened. So you guys took that long rest. You got the level up, which I think is when everyone got spell casting that was a spellcaster, and the fighters got something. I don't remember what the fighters got. They got something. It was decent.
Yeah.
I think the guys got class features. I don't. Oh, you guys
Yeah,
got your
we
fighting
got
styles.
all
That's
of
what it
our
was.
class
Yeah, we got
feature
fighting
stuff,
style.
so.
Yeah.
Does that mean
Yes.
that I feel like we cleared our exhaustion levels, and I don't have a type of damage written down, but I have an exhaustion level ticked?
Well,
Yours
you
was the
touched
only
some
one that
lava,
struck me as
right?
suspicious.
I
Oh, that's
have
what it was. Yeah. So you took
I
1 point
have
of fire damage.
I have immunity to fire though.
Right. So then that is, let's just say that one's a mistake because I also thought it was funny that there was no damage type written down,
Yeah,
Emily.
because
So
okay. I'll untick it.
I think the only other one then is Jens. Jens, you want to take an hour to rub some ointment on your thunder damage? Or I
That
guess
would be quite delightful.
massage your ears. I guess that's what thunder damage would affect.
Just sit very quietly.
Hmm.
Jens needs to do that every once in a while.
Yeah. It burns a use of a med kit to sit really quietly, apparently.
The med kit has just like a little Kinder Surprise toy in it or something to keep you occupied while you're sitting quietly.
It has one of those
It-
like things for toddlers where there's like the round hole and you have like the cube and you're trying to put it in.
and it doesn't make any sound. Okay, so you guys take a little rest, then you decide to head up the easy path. And it's a very nice, light saunter, a little bit more wide than a goat trail up a mountain. You definitely have enough room to walk single file. You don't have to do the step 1 foot in front of the other. You have like about a foot of a ledge here, and it is somewhat carved out. It does not look like it was done very well, just kind of crudely to cut the path, but it's very easy walking and slightly sloped, brisk walk, very light in terms of hiking difficulty, probably like a 2 out of 10 if you were to rate it on a scale of how difficult this climb is. And you guys are sauntering along, and eventually, let me just get some dice out here to see who's going to notice this.
Because it's very open, right? Like you said, like there's not a lot of vegetation or anything. Like it's all just very barren and rocky, so it's like
yeah.
clear and easy to see things.
Yeah, there's maybe a couple of fungi growing in the rock crevices, some algae and stuff like that, but nothing that's really popping out and catching your gaze. You guys are all kind of staring at the ground when Samson and Jens, you notice that there's this thin trail or almost a river, but more like a trail of blood that kind of drips around and hugs the side from where the mountain meets the walking path you're on. And it's pretty thin. It's maybe about a quarter of the width of my pinky. So just like a single little stream. But it is flowing steadily, and you're kind of seeing the end of it. It looks like that where you are, you're just noticing it starting to pass by your feet. And then seeing this and thinking to look back and inspect further, Samson, you notice that it looks like this is a path where blood has trailed before, and it's just starting to trail again.
Yeah, I'm going to announce to the party, I'm going to go, friends, it appears that there is a trail of blood going up the way. If I hold up my hand and compare where my pinky used to be, it looks like it's almost the width of where my pinky was.
Oh, that's
Blood from your pinky?
I'm sorry about your pinky again. Maybe avoid touching hot things in the future, but
Cyrus, my friend, don't worry, I've got a spare.
that's true, you do. You've got a few spares actually. Still, it must be a little awkward holding that club of yours now without a pinky.
I'm more than versatile enough to handle this club with a mere 7 fingers and 2 thumbs.
Oh yes, that the math checks out. I like that. Cyrus was like counting his fingers.
Yeah.
But I have
But he's
8
still
fingers.
confused. He's still
Yeah,
I put a
I-
note of the blood.
Oh yeah, there's blood.
I don't know if if there's anything we can do about it at the moment.
Follow the trail. Maybe someone's hurt.
Is this just like a blood mountain? Like it's like a volcano, but it spews blood. Is that why it's called Blood Mountain?
That is a great
That
guess.
is yep. I think you might be onto something, yeah.
Because
You
this is
know-
just like, I feel if someone was bleeding, it wouldn't have
Hmm.
this, it wouldn't trickle in this way. I don't think that would.
Yeah, maybe, but I'm still worried that someone might be hurt. So yeah, it seems like the trail is on the trail, so maybe we can just keep following it and keep an eye out, and maybe there's someone that needs our help up ahead.
Can I
Yeah.
touch it to see if it's cold?
Yeah, you can touch
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I wanted to touch the
Okay.
blood as well.
So if you guys recall from past descriptions, it's very warm in this environment constantly. You think if you weren't undead, you would be suffering penalties of exhaustion because of the heat that you're experiencing. And even more so in the lava lakes where you've been. So there was a general ambient temperature that was very high. And then when you got here, it was even higher. So the blood is hot to the touch, but it's kind of like warm water effectively. And in the ambient air, it doesn't feel like that much hotter than your environment, but it is warm.
That's actually an interesting point. We don't have blood right now.
Would you like actually no, you guys have been cut and seen that you don't really bleed. You're kind of like these weird undead-ish beings right now.
Right.
Almost like zombies, but you feel like you have a soul still, even though you don't.
Don't.
Do you think that we could replace our missing blood with this blood?
That
Sorry, that
do a
sounds.
was a
blood
weird question.
transfusion.
That was weird. I'm sorry. Ignore me.
I didn't think you would be into necromancy, to be honest.
That's what I was thinking.
You just don't seem the type.
Them
we're already-
necromancer words.
We're the fact that I'd like to think a bit more of like if I was comfortable being undead, that would be more necromancy tendencies. But I want to be alive again. I miss
Some
You're a
aspects of
witch.
That's
necromancy
objectively necromancy.
That's
are really
the
quite
and undead.
beneficial.
but I want to be undead.
It's helping the dead
Un-
rest, or the undead rest. Don't look at necromancers and just go immediately evil.
yeah.
That sounds like
Necromancy
something a
isn't
necromancer
evil.
would say.
Would you guys have
I've never
stopped
dabbled in it
at
personally.
would you guys have stopped at noticing the blood trail, or would you keep walking? Is an important question I have.
I probably would have stopped to talk
I would
about
have
blood.
stopped.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean
People
to.
are touching it. Yeah.
Can I
No,
like
no,
look towards where the blood's actually coming from if we can see somewhere upstream?
So you look at the trail you're walking up, Swap, and you notice the blood as far as your eyes can see, and you're not really sure if it fades away, but it's probably going to continue along this trail until you see what source there is, but you can't spot a source. Yeah.
I'll start walking along the path.
Hati has picked a direction.
I want to use my divine sense and to see if this blood could be from potentially a celestial fiend or undead. Like, would the blood of something from one of those creatures be picked up by my divine sense?
It's a great question. And I feel like the answer is going to be whatever the DM decides. Because
Of
I
course.
think I remember what it says in Divine Sense correctly, and I probably don't. Oh, great. It's right there. On your character sheet. Right where I need
Yeah.
it.
There you go.
That's so convenient.
It's like I put it there
You
for a
know
reason.
the location of any celestial fiend or undead. Yeah, just
It's
as I
just
thought.
would the blood be part of it? Who knows?
It's just gonna be so many
without-
points for undeads.
Yes, I get to see my party. I know where my party is.
Just having a quick think about it, you've never really pondered this question because every time you've used it in the past, the blood's always been with the thing. It hasn't been the blood so far away from the thing that you would have to consider this. So you're really
Right.
not sure what would happen.
And that's
And the
fine.
DM's
I'm
not
gonna
gonna
try
tell
it
you.
out anyways, and maybe nothing will happen and that will be inconclusive, or maybe something will show up, or I'll get a hang off of something, I guess would be the term to use. But yeah.
Okay, so you activate your divine sense, you start glowing with this divine aura of magic, and you're just standing there and you notice that you're all undead.
Oh, that's good to confirm.
As you spot 6 undead around you. And the blood trail doesn't strike as celestial fiend or undead, but it does ping as consecrated.
Oh, consecrated, not desecrated.
Uh-oh.
Those are opposites, Joe.
I know they're opposites, and I'm just like
This
me,
is good
me as a person trying to
blood.
think what is good and what is bad, and does that change depending on where you are? And
Does that change depending on my personal views, like Cyrus's views, or does that
Interesting point.
I think in the
I think
cosmology of D&D, consecrated is good aligned, desecrated is evil aligned.
And if you're in an evil place, desecrated is good.
or desecrated would be the usual
but
question
it's
mark?
still evil aligned to Riley's point. So I'm gonna stick
Yes.
with what I said originally and double down. This is consecrated.
Oh,
Oh,
It's evil.
Yes.
Okay.
What a
okay.
twist. Consecrated blood.
wow.
Holy blood.
Yeah, Cyrus
blood.
wants
It's
some.
blood, Batman.
Does anyone
Heard holy
have
water.
have a vial or something? I think that this blood is important.
Jens immediately has a vial for you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And Cyrus is gonna like scoop up some of the blood into the vial and hold on to it.
As if Jens needed an excuse to pick up random blood on the ground. A vial.
What? Way ahead of you.
Wait, Jens, where do you have vials from? Or am I missing this on your character sheet? I know you have a vial of fishworm goo.
Da, 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 da.
His vial is just cupped hands.
You have an oil flask. Oh, but I think
I
you
do have
put
an oil.
whiskey
Oh,
in that.
I have 2 oil flasks.
I thought you
picked
just
up
have 2 encumbrance for oil
I believe
flasks.
there's water skin, but it's
Oh, true.
whiskey, so you can't have it.
Oh,
Yeah, I think your oil flask is full of whiskey right now, just like Samson's.
are you sure you don't want to drink the whiskey so that I can have the empty flask?
I have 2
Okay.
oil flasks, so I can give one.
Nice.
Then I give up my water skin for my explorer's pack. And I will cross that one out.
You're gonna go to take a drink one day. It's gonna be this old congealed blood.
Consecrated blood.
Okay,
Still
so I'll
congealed.
fill up
Oh,
the
or presumably my ink pen would have had like little ink capsules with it.
or would
I
it be
think
like an
normally
ink
it comes with
vial?
like an ink well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it says that, because I think these are copied.
Oh, I have 2 oil flasks.
It seems
There you
like
go.
we have a plethora of oil/water flask skins. So I will grab one from whoever is offering it to me. Who would like to be the one?
I already
offering?
gave. I took it off my
Okay,
Yeah.
sheet.
Monty
So
has already
Oh,
given
I
it
You've
to
already
me.
touched the blood. What was the?
Yeah, so I'm just going to be filling up the flask, and then I'm also going to like dip my finger in it and like put a mark of blood on the outside of the flask to like this contains blood as like a label essentially.
Just to be a stickler DM, you don't have a plethora of vessels to hold liquids in. You have a very finite amount, and most of them have whiskey in them right now. So the DM will be a
'Cause we're
stickler on
smart.
things like containers and whatnot, because you don't have an infinite number of them.
We
gotta pick
can't
some
carry all the fluids. I get it.
Well, so what have we learned about this blood? It's consecrated. It's clear that it's flowed more than once through this channel. Is that?
Yeah,
Is
you
that-
you specifically noticed that, Samson. Yeah.
I mean, let's just go
And
to the source.
yeah, I mean, it seems
Yeah.
like this is quite a divine blood, so I'm very interested to know who made it or who it came from. maybe we should be returning it to its owner. I'm not too sure, but
This
yeah.
is the blood of a god?
Uh, Unclear at this point. It seems very holy though. It's like it radiates this very uh, you know, angelic light from it when I use my divine sense. It seems to just be it has this like positive aura that I need to know whose this is.
Do you think they're sacrificing a god at the top of this mountain right now?
I hope not. So maybe we should hurry in case they are, because that would be bad.
I knew it. We should have taken the medium path.
Well,
Let's
I
go
agree with
fast.
Mr. Zaral. I figure if there is some being who is giving us this mountain there, consecrated blood, we better best hightail it and find out what or who they are and where the source of this blood is, if it's not coming out from the rocks like some sort of devilish spring.
Maybe this is a holy mountain, but I'd rather be quick to the top to determine that than be too late to save someone.
Should we
Holy
speed
mountain
walk?
named Mount Blood.
You know,
Speedwalk.
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 All right, everyone's taking minuses to their passive perception.
Maybe there's someone that I can hurt in response, and I take my club and kind of just.
yeah, you do that. You keep an eye out for us.
For the first time in our travels, you're gonna see Vero stop whistling, put his sling in his pocket, and hold his walking stick properly and just get a real good power walk going on. Just
Dang.
focused on the walk, not stopping to look around, not pondering the nature of life and the goodness of all being, just walking.
Oh man, it's serious now.
It's
Oh,
serious now.
jeez.
Serious.
A safe walking speed.
As you guys pick up the pace and continue along this little goat trail along the side of the mountain, you eventually crest a corner and the trail seems to end, but there is a cave entrance into this cliffside. Presumably, this is the continuation of the trail, and the blood seems to be also flowing from in there as this trail has perpetuated. I'm assuming people are keeping an eye every once in a while, although I did keep it into account that you guys get minuses on your passive perceptions now, but given that you know of its existence and where to track it, it's not hard to look to where you'd assume it to be, and it hasn't moved on you. I'm assuming you enter the cave.
Follow the blood.
Okay.
Has
Yep.
the
So you
blood
enter.
has the blood trail has it increased in width at all? It's still
Still the same.
Okay.
Yep. And as you enter this cave and take a step in with your steadfastness, not paying much attention to the stuff around you, a sizable number of you, that would be, who's that color? That would be Vero, Samson, and Jens. As soon as you step into this cave, you notice it's a little squishy. I think Samson was the only one of you three who was inside the the fishworm person thing. It's a different squishy than that, but it's similar. It's oddly similar. It's the way it's different is it's where that was like stepping on a really, really spongy wet blanket. This is like stepping on what was I gonna say? This is like stepping on a giant jelly-filled donut.
Gross.
Yeah. It's also very wet. The fish wasn't so wet. It was moist. It was an unpleasant kind of moist, but this is wet. Like you guys step in this and notice that your feet get a little bit soaked in something. And it's very dark in here, but luckily you all have dark vision, so you can vaguely see, but it's in shades of gray. And you're seeing, looking around now, noticing this peculiar ground, the floor is kind of in a thin film of some liquid. Again, it's a grayscale you're seeing in, so you can't discern the color, but you could guess. And you're noticing some stuff dripping from the ceiling. like in big raindrop kind of spots randomly, but not frequently. Very very random and infrequent.
What's the temperature of this wet floor?
Great question. It's noticeably cooler, or sorry, no, it wouldn't be. It would be the same temperature as the blood, but the ambient temperature in here is noticeably cooler than outside.
What does it smell like in there?
That was my next question.
Yeah.
Yep.
This all happened right as we entered the cave.
The three people I said noticed this
Right.
when you guys entered, because
Okay.
you guys were gunning it. You had a mission. You wanted to
Yeah.
find the source of this. So
Okay.
everyone
Keep
else
going.
did not pass their check to see this. But
Gotcha.
Everybody hold up before we go any further.
What's up?
This reminds me at least a little bit of the fish thing that we entered.
My son.
That was
yes.
Samson's son.
Riley, I don't think you entered the fish.
No, I
Of
was
all
going
the
to say
party
that I
members,
did.
you are the one who did not enter Samson's son.
This reminds me eerily of the inside of my son.
Jesus.
I'm
Keep it PG here.
I mean, we're having blood raining down on our characters.
it's not
This is PG-13 material.
This isn't
people.
blood. What are you talking about?
Am I gonna have to do a hard cut there? I don't know. I don't know if that was the line or not. But it was so much.
Everybody
It reminds
hold
me.
up. It's squishy like a living thing. There's
Oh.
stuff dripping from the ceiling. Maybe blood. Maybe not.
And
Maybe
Well,
where's that trail of blood that we were following?
I don't know.
We
If you
can't
talking
see the
about-
trail of blood anymore, can we?
Clay, you look around for it, investigating to see where the trail of blood is, and you notice that you do not find the trail of blood inside here. It seems to have
Can
vanished.
someone light a torch or something?
Well, there's liquid everywhere, so that ought to be the blood that was dripping out of this cave. No?
Oh, this cave is blood?
Well,
Cyrus is
there's
gonna like
liquid
walk.
there's liquid on the floor is blood, presumably.
can I use
Kinda.
prestidigitation to create a small light for us?
Yes, the question is, does it produce a radius? And I don't know
I
the
can
answer to
pull
that
out a
off the top of my head.
torch from my explorer's pack, and you can light it.
How big
light my
does this
torch.
cave seem?
This is a great question. I want to circle back to the last question about the cave, which is what Emily asked, which how does it smell? Which we didn't answer. And the answer to that question is it smells no different than it smelled outside. It's kind of like muggy, humid smell and a little bit brimstony, but a little bit less of that in here than outside. So not like a noticeable odor that would strike you and make you think, it smells different in here. It smells like something different than what I'm used to. No, it's the same sort of smells. The size of the cave, Samson, when the light is brought out by Cyrus with a torch, that gives you a decent scope of how big it is. It seems like the cave walls away from you are about 5 feet, so you're gonna only be able to walk single file comfortably in here. And sorry, I blanked out for a second. And then the roof is about 8 feet tall or something like that.
And it seems to just kind of go on, like it's just kind of darkness ahead of us.
Yeah, the torchlight only goes out, I think 20 feet in bright light, and then another 15 or 10 in dark. But after that, you can't really see. It might bend a little bit around the corner, like using your dark vision sense and seeing that, but you're not sure how long this proceeds. Maybe it's just a short in the cave and then you're back out in a little bit. But without doing any further investigation, that's all you can really determine from the situation.
And so
If-
with this light now, what is this wetness?
Oh, it was blood. Yeah. With
Oh,
the light,
okay.
you get the color, and you're like, "Yep, this is blood." The cave
Hmm.
walls themselves kind of seem to ooze blood a little bit. Keeping it PG. You guys all remember Magic School Bus, and when they would go inside people, and it would just kind of like be red and stuff like that. It's kind of like that a little bit, except it's a cave, and the cave kind of seems like it has soft tissue. And the drops are just kind of like clumps of congealed blood that are falling down. So it's not like a drop of blood. It's blood clots effectively.
We are
And
inside an animal of some sort.
The animal is the
Yes.
mountain, maybe.
Cyrus is
The
going to
mountain is
I
an
use
don't know about how alive it is.
Cyrus is going to use his divine sense again to confirm that this is all consecrated.
Doesn't divine sense last for like 10 minutes?
It is one action, and it
Oh,
just is for one action. That's it.
I am. I'm thinking of like something like detect magic, maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So you use it again, and you get the same pings as you did last time, except the blood. Not all the blood that you're seeing is pinging from consecration. You actually, with divine sense, get kind of just the wetness on the ground. It's trying to think of a good way to describe this. If you kind of dropped vinegar into oil, but you did it on an inclined sheet and then it kind of veined out a little bit. So it seems like it's coming from a point higher up inside this cave and streaming through this liquid and then coming out the other side.
Okay, so the consecration is further ahead, so we need to continue on to find
Yes.
out. So we haven't found the true source yet, everyone. We have to keep going.
Can I think really hard about whether there's a chance we took a wrong turn somewhere?
Yes. You can think really hard about that. And while you are doing that, the other party members, I did a roll and it just so happened that Vero didn't notice this, so this is perfect. So we have Orpheus, Cyrus, Hati, and Jens. You guys are looking around at this situation, which is shocking to say the least. It's striking you as unusual, like most things in this realm. And you're looking at this for a while and you're thinking, as much as this looks like a cave, it also kind of looks like a wound. Like if you were inside
I
a
wonder-
giant being, this could be a small wound to it.
I wonder what kind of weapon could make this massive wound.
In terms of
like-
so if the mountain was a giant being and the stone or the trail that we're climbing up was the arm, we are like entering a little cut in the mountain.
Potentially, yeah. Yeah,
Potentially.
potentially. If it were a being, right? It could be something else, but it's just
Yeah.
looking at this, it kind of seems consistent with puncture wounds that you've all seen in the past through different life experiences. So
So it's not like a
Well-
blood vessel. It's like if we look at the walls, it's like ruptured tissue.
yeah, exactly. I guess again to go back to the magic school bus analogy
I
to
was
keep it
thinking about the
PG.
magic school bus.
If you took a thumbtack and stuck it into your arm to penetrate just the skin tissue there, it would look like that. But if you were the microscopic size, so that the hole was about 5 by 8 or whatever I described for the cave.
Well, I am concerned, but I don't want to be intruding within this being that we don't really know much about. And maybe the sorceress would know better than us if once we met her at the peak. So I'm
Was
not
there-
too sure if exploring the inside of this mountain is a good idea.
Was there any other way? I mean, I think we might just have to go through.
I'm
Speaking
not sure,
of if
maybe-
there is another way, Vero, you were thinking about if there was in fact a wrong turn, and the only thing that you can deduce is that maybe this wasn't a path, but it definitely looked as much like a path as your other two options. And along the way, you didn't see a feasible or realistic alternative to the path that you took, unless you wanted to just start scrambling up the side of the cliff face, which would have been just as dangerous as the cliff face at the base that you decide not to take.
So we were kind of taking this path up this mountain, and that kind of led us to the mouth of this cave. We
Yeah.
didn't go off the trail to go into the cave. That like the trail terminated at the mouth of the cave.
Yeah, it more than that, it seems like the mouth of the cave is part of the trail.
Okay.
Right.
Mm.
So I'm getting curious if there's anyone else in this cave. Friends, I'd like to just call out very loudly at this point and see if there's anybody else in here.
With
Can I,
that,
would that be all
Sure.
right?
Or we can just keep going ahead if Pharaoh thinks that this is the only way forward.
well, I I cannot for the life of me think of another way we could have gone unless
Hmm.
we go all the way back and take the medium hard route or the dangerous and steep route. It leads me to believe that this is indeed still the route our friend advised us to take.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm okay still trusting Bo, but maybe let's not like bump into the walls too much and keep all sharp things in their sheaths. We don't want to hurt this mountain any more than it already seems to be hurt.
Okay, but there was a question that you asked earlier, Cyrus, which is really important, which is what did this? And is it going to do it again while we're all in here?
That was my thought.
I think that's a very important thing that we should be thinking about right now.
does an arrow ever strike the same place twice?
If we go fast, then there's less chance.
Speed walk.
Speedwalk, part 2.
Maybe we be a little careful, but we don't dilly-dally.
Yeah, dilly-dallying seems like a bad idea.
So let's keep walking and single file, obviously. It's a little cramped in here. But you know, we'll hopefully come to the other side of the cave person.
Ling?
Yeah. Hopefully there's an exit wound, I guess, and the path will continue up.
All
So
right.
you guys continue on.
Carefully this time.
Yes.
Oh, so you guys are gonna go at a slow pace and
At
pay
a
attention to your
moderate
surroundings and
pace.
stealth? Sorry?
We're going at a moderate pace. We're not going slow, but we're not running through the cave.
At a
Okay,
medium.
okay.
And
Okay.
I definitely don't think we're trying to stealth our way through. Like we're being
No, I don't think so.
But the
Okay.
walking stick is at my side and not prodding the ground as I go.
That's so
Very important.
considerate.
As you guys slow down from your fast pace to a more normal and modest walking speed, and continue down the cave, it does slope up slightly, and you all hear the stumbling of a footstep that seems to have slipped behind you about 60 to 65 feet, just at the edge of your dark vision. Do you guys continue on, or do you go investigate the
I'm going
sound
to
that you heard?
use magnified presence to go, hello!
Samson, you hear ever so slightly after your hello, good shit, just whispered under someone's breath, like they didn't intend to be heard. It sounds like a voice you're familiar with, which
Ryan,
was
is that you?
I slipped, okay? Don't acknowledge my presence.
Sorry, we love you, Ryan.
Wait,
my
didn't
God.
he
God
abandon us? Didn't he abandon us?
Ryan
Guess
would
not.
never abandon us.
It abandoned you.
Here, Ranger. They're
Wow.
supposed to be good at sneaking around.
Ah, you can't fault him for everything. Like we all have our bad days. He's doing his best, and that's why I love him.
Like when you forgot his name is all.
I
I don't
didn't
think
forget
it's
his
that he forgot
name.
it. He didn't know it, which is a very important distinction, and it is actually worse.
Yeah, he thought
No, it's not that I didn't know his name or that I forgot it. It was more like that was just, we were essentially in the army together, and uh that was his recruitment number.
He knew
There
your
were
name.
That's
So
even
he was
worse.
just a number to you, is what you're saying.
Well, unfortunately, that's how
You heard
the
that, Ryan?
cruel world of the army is. So we only had a few days together, and I was training up a bunch of guys, and he was number 2, but he's number 1 in my heart now.
As
Well,
much as
that's a
I
little
always
insulting.
enjoy criticizing Cyrus for his past decisions, we really should keep moving.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm having this conversation as we're walking.
Yeah. I assumed as you guys figured out it was Ryan, you're like, we're just gonna keep going. And as you keep going, some blood clots continue to fall from the ceiling, missing you guys ever so slightly. Some of you are better at dodging it than others. There's a couple of close calls. Jens particularly is about to take a step forward where one falls right in front of his face, but doesn't hit you. Yeah. Not that being touched by it might do anything to you. You don't know, but it's just fun if it falls in your face. I rolled percentile to see if it would or not. All right. Speaking of rolling, you guys are rounding this corner. It started to get pretty steep. It became a little bit tricky with your footing to not slip. So you started to have to slow down your pace to not risk falling. And you guys get up to the top here and the cave egresses. So it kind of did a enter and then up and switch back. So you think you're just about 300 or 400 feet up around the same spot that you entered from, but maybe a little bit further along. And there's another deer trail that continues from there. Now I know what question people are going to ask. Do you see a blood trail on this
That wasn't
path?
actually my question.
Well, I'm going to answer the question before anyone gets a chance to ask it. And you do see the trail there. Sorry, Cyrus. What was your question, though?
As we were going up, did the wound seem to change in markings or anything on the walls? Like, if this is something that went in at one angle and then curved around, was it there like the initial incision or wound puncture, and then it turned into someone mining out this section to be an actual tunnel with an exit? Or was it all sort of the same carvings?
Great question. Would you have stopped to analyze the wound, or would you just do this kind of like as you walked?
Just as I'm walking, I would have like taken like if there were any like clear division change of like it's no longer this type of wound, it's now this other type. I don't know.
Without stopping to carefully inspect the walls at every spot, it kind of just all seems the same.
Okay,
You don't really notice the direction of any tearing flesh or anything like that.
fair enough. Well, onwards and upwards.
So you guys
Follow the
continue
trail.
walking along the trail, and
Does the trail of
I
blood still follow the trail?
yeah, it does. So you guys
Okay.
enter onto another goat trail that's very similar in style and size to the one you started on, and it seems to wrap for another little while. You're not sure how long. It seems like a ways. You guys have opportunities to talk to each other here if you want, but I'll just keep describing if you guys don't want to say words. I assume you guys have casual conversation though.
We're friends. We can
Yeah.
just chit chat, pass the time, and
Yeah.
hey, you almost you got a little bit of blood in your hair there. Let me get that for you there, Hati.
Whoa, 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 what? Get that out of here.
And you guys continue on for a little while, and then the cave does re-enter into, or the trail ends, and there's another cave that re-enters into the mountain, and this one is similar to the cave you were in before. Do you guys want to stop and investigate this one, or are you just going to keep on going, thinking that
I mean,
it's the
now
same?
that there's the context of it being a person, like what does like the actual outside look like? Like it like around the edge of this tunnel.
Like, is
At
it
this
the
new
scat?
tunnel, what? Yeah, sure. You guys can
Yeah.
all do like a little investigation here.
Just like what did this to you? You doing okay, buddy?
I got an 18.
Oh, I was rolling it over here, Emily.
Aw,
I'm so sorry.
but we haven't gotten to roll.
I've been doing a lot of rolls just like behind the scenes for things.
Aw,
I'll give you your 18 though.
thank you.
But for everyone else, that is nope. So Emily and Cyrus, you guys are the best ones at investigating. this cave, and it seems like no different than any of the rock that you have encountered anywhere else in this realm. So it doesn't seem like flesh at all. It's just the inside of the cave seems like that, which is odd and peculiar.
And there's like going into the cave, like I'm thinking like there's rock on the outside, and then suddenly once you're in, it's now this bloody fleshy inside, or is there like a thickness to this rock before it
Yeah, is it like an
transitions?
exoskeleton, I guess? Like a shell?
That's a good question. Looking along the side of the rock to where it enters, there is some thickness to it. You'd say it's about a foot or two.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Or
Well,
closer to 2 feet, you think, than 1 foot.
does
I mean,
this
this should come as no surprise to anyone. But if we think in terms of the humors and draining blood from something that is consecrated, it might be something trying to simply reduce the energy of the consecrated thing to weaken something good and holy, for lack of a better word, up ahead, or at worst, perhaps trying to turn it from something good into something more sinister and evil. In the absence of blood, a person's black bile will often um, grow in quantity to meet the vacuum, leading to a little more melancholy, depression, coldness, qualities that you would not want in a powerful entity.
So
Jens,
we
you said a
hurry
lot
up.
of words there, and poof, sorry. No.
I think I got the gist of it. Let's hurry up. Is this
Yeah, yeah. I mean that. Yeah,
Something good is becoming bad because of someone bad doing bad things to the good thing.
Because of the
maybe.
humors.
Yes.
Because it's funny, right?
Mhm,
Um, and
History
that's not funny.
mhm.
That was
Can
a
I
little
see if
funny.
I can remember any myths or legends of entities in the underworld from my upbringing, having been privy to many myths and legends in my training as a hero?
Yeah, give me a history check, Samson. The first official roll of the night.
Bloody hell. It was I was 9 minus 1, 8.
For lore of the Abyss, your story is mainly focused on the heroes of your realm and not so much the monsters below. It was more about the story is always talked about a monster, but they were not the focus of the story. So you're not really coming up with anything useful here, but you do think about some fond memories of your childhood of stories that you were told as a boy of great heroes, and it does inspire you a little bit.
Been racking my brain, and I don't recall having ever learned of an entity that could be mistaken for a mountain due to its immense size. So this is this is quite odd.
Hmm. Beyond even the legends.
Exactly.
Well, we'll be making our own legends today, it seems like. Let's figure out what this thing is.
And help it.
Yeah, if we can.
Or destroy it if need be with this club that I have. We'll figure
Yes.
out the most appropriate response.
Well,
Can you club a mountain? Does that work?
I feel like it would take a while, but let's not
If
jump the gun.
anyone could, it's Samson.
It's true. We
Who's a
believe in your
builder's own.
strength.
Okay.
Okay.
So you guys
Into the next tunnel.
continue on and just fast tracking this a little bit. You guys wander for quite a long time. You're not sure how long has passed, since there's no way to count days and nights here. You wander along either these little goat trails that look very similar while making your way steadily up the mountain, and then occasionally cut into these caves that are all very similar in description to the last two. Some of them go in different paths, but they always are very short. You're not in the caves for very long. You'd say if you had to guess the time, somewhere between 2 to 30 minutes, depending on the cave and depending on who you ask in the party on how long you guys spent in there. You guys do this for quite a long time, but eventually you get to a sort of little gully that shoots straight up, and the blood trail that you keep seeing appear and disappear as you walk in and out of the caves. And Cyrus assures you that it's still there, it's just distributed out throughout the cave, and you tend to believe him because of what you're seeing after you leave. You get up to this gully, and there is a little bit more of a river of blood that's flowing down, and then it kind of pools into this little pond and then trickles out from there. So you guys fast track through the mountain, you do a bunch of climbing, and eventually you approach this gully. Right there. And you decide to make your way up it. It kind of looks like that you're going to have to brace yourselves against the sides of the crevice and scramble your way up here, but you probably won't get blood on you, but you might get some blood on you.
Does the stream of blood run at the bottom of this gully?
Yeah, so if you recall, the description before we took a break was it goes down the gully, so it's kind of like this V shape, and then it's just running through the center there, coming into this small little pool of blood, and then the trail was seeping down from that pool.
Okay. Yeah.
Can
So
I do a quick perception check on the rest of the party? I'm curious if anyone feeling guilty is muttering under their breath, like, I'm already soaked in blood.
So I'll roll that for you here. You notice nothing from the party.
Okay.
I'm
Okay,
not too happy
so
about the blood, but it's okay.
even if you're saying something under your breath, the ends does not notice.
Fair enough.
So do you guys go up the stream, or are you gonna pack it in and say, no, this is where I cut out of the climb here? It's gotten too hard. It just went from
I
like a
suppose
difficulty of 2 to a difficulty of 7.
I think
I
we
suppose there's no
immediately
way.
cut out here purely to spite the GM. You got to put out all the stuff you just set up away.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's
buddy,
fine.
you know what? This has been fun, but I'm just gonna jump off the side of the cliff now. No,
The
not
campaign
actually, not actually, Joe. It's okay.
Taking out like all the dice.
Yeah.
Samson doesn't have a "this is too hard" mode.
Hati's always up for a challenge.
I suppose there's no way to like if this is a gully, is there a way to like get on top of whatever, like after it's no longer steep slopes? Just like hop up and
You
then
could try
walk
and climb
on the
around
side.
like on the sheer rock of it, but you wouldn't have a good grip there. It would be much more difficult than taking the path, but you could do it. It would just be harder.
Yeah, if it's gonna be harder, then I'm not gonna do it.
I think all we know is that we are in the gully. It's getting a little bit harder going, and we know that there's a pool, or like what we currently think might be the pool of blood up ahead.
Well, the stream is coming down into the pool, Riley. So at the top, there's still a source that's trailing the blood.
So we have found a pool of blood, and a big stream is coming in, and a little stream is going out, and we followed the little stream up to the big pool, and now we want to follow the big stream up to a bigger pool / source question mark. If I'm understanding this correctly, Joe.
Yes, that is correct. You can kind of think of it like a waterfall, but it's not really falling because of the slope of the gully. It's just trailing through there, and then there's a pool of blood at the base, and then it's trickling down from there.
Is there
Yeah,
anything
we-
interesting about this pool of blood? Or is it just a big old pool?
The normal
It's a big old
build.
pool. I mean, it's kind of neat because it's there and it's a pool of blood. So it's neat for that reason. Other than
like-
that, it's just kind of shaped in a way where there's a little slit at the back, and that's why this reservoir is here, but you're only seeing that thin trail. So it's not
Cyrus, what do
overflowing.
you sense about it?
I think it's still probably just more of this consecrated blood. I wonder though if there could be any magical properties that we could use this for. I'm not very good at magic though. so I wouldn't know the first thing to do about it. But maybe if there was, well, I'm sure the sorceress will tell us what maybe this blood will be used in one of her rituals.
You said in the caves that the consecrated parts of the blood were flowing through. Are you getting the same here, or is the pool itself consecrated, do you think?
I'll check again. I'll use uh my final divine sense and confirm that the consecration continues on up the stream, and like this isn't the source of consecration.
Yeah, so you use your divine sense and you find out that this whole pool is consecrated blood and the stream leading up is still consecrated as you suspected.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, it's all pure, and I don't like using that word for it, but it's all the
Mm.
pure consecrated blood, as opposed to in the caves when it was being diluted with other blood. But yeah, this is all
Interesting.
the pure stuff, and it continues on up ahead. So whatever's producing this blood is still further up. So I think we should keep going, find out what this source is,
I agree.
Yeah.
figure out what actually makes it consecrated.
We came this far.
It's true. This is probably the reason we came this whole way. Let's find out.
Well,
Let's
whatever
find out.
entity is consecrating this blood must be good and kind at heart. And in this forsaken place, any person we meet that is good and kind at heart could be a useful friend and ally. And I suggest we go and meet them as quickly as possible.
Consecrated does not mean kind, but
Do we really think that the blood person is a good person?
It's a person who's losing blood.
The person losing blood is probably
No,
a good
like
person.
the
The person
blood person.
bleeding, I don't know. Oh, you mean the sorceress who
Yeah.
Bo has told us to go meet?
Anyone who's
Yeah,
causing this amount of consecrated blood to flow down this mountain.
yeah, I don't know, but we're just
I
gonna
mean,
have to meet them and find out what's going on.
only one way to find out.
Just a clarification, in D&D rules, is consecrated blood normal blood that has been made consecrated, or is it blood that is spilled by an entity that is consecrated? Because I think I might be misunderstanding how it works, and I'm thinking somebody's up there consecrating a bunch of blood that's happening to fall down here. So there's a good person up there who has unknown motives, versus it seems everyone else is thinking that there is a good entity that is dying due to some horrific evil.
So what I'll say, Clay, is I have no idea what is official in D&D, if it's one or the other, but I was thinking more along the lines of what you were thinking, where consecration and desecration comes from rituals, where the area or object gains that or is bestowed with that property. So I
Okay.
was thinking more along your lines, but I wasn't going to answer that question because I thought it was neat that you guys were thinking about different things. And I was also thinking, maybe it's both. I don't actually know, but whatever I decide will be the thing.
We'll find out.
We'll find
Jens
out.
Jens is gonna stop cold for a moment. Because the idea just occurred to, well, me and Jens. In my time as a cleric, we were trained to cast a certain spell that could either sanctify or desecrate. I believe that our adversaries, those clerics of more malevolent gods, were trained in the same. So we know something about the type of magic that is being cast. We do not know anything about the caster.
But we know that they're choosing to consecrate, to to spread good rather than to desecrate
Or
this blood.
to leave a trail of breadcrumbs.
Well,
Blood
if it's
crumbs.
a trap, let's walk into it.
I
Perhaps,
We'll
also
be
feel
okay.
like it's
We'll be
blood.
fine.
It's blood. It's still
perhaps
a
the
suspicious
entity.
amount of blood. No matter where it's coming from or any of those things, it's still a lot of blood.
Don't you want to know where it comes from, Morpheus?
Oh, absolutely. I'm just saying that we shouldn't assume that there's anything good about the huge amount of blood coming down, because we might go
Mhm.
up there and they start killing us and consecrating our blood, but we're still dead.
Could
You know,
be
we can
that the
talk
entity
We don't
ourselves.
have any blood, so that's fine.
shedding the blood was
You're so right.
consecrated.
I still have a small amount. It mostly stays in me. I don't know if I'm making any more.
Well,
Sorry, that's an aside. Let's carry on.
yeah, we're going to talk ourselves
have
in
blood?
circles. Let's find the truth of the matter at the top of the mountain.
I smell a battle afoot. Let's go find it.
Just
I like the way you think, Samson.
maybe wait to figure out if it's bonkable before we bonk.
Everything is bonkable.
Everything is bonkable, it's true.
Hmm.
Hottie gets me.
Okay, well, I'm gonna lead. And Samson, I suggest you take up the rear of the party. Not for any particular reason. Just, if something needs to get bonked, then
Good
we can
thinking.
take our
Something
time to
could come
bonk it.
from behind us.
Yeah, there
I'll
we
watch
go.
our rear.
Oh, thank you.
Okay,
With
up we
Samson
go.
watching the rear, you guys head up. Everyone, please roll a DC 10 athletics check.
DC 10.
Got an 11.
Nice.
Yeah.
I got a 21.
Nice.
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 My total
I got a
is
3.
5.
Oh, not so nice. I'm still figuring out my dice.
I got 3 on the die, -2.
Not natural one. Nice.
A constructed one.
A deconstructed one.
I got an
Um,
11.
Desecrated.
And Samson, sorry, I didn't hear you. What'd you get?
My total is 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
With
So
bonuses.
Cyrus, Orpheus, and Hati, you guys are fine. Unfortunately, Orpheus, you are slowed by the other people who keep falling and stumbling in the gully. They're losing their footing, they're stepping into the river, there's a little bit of that scrambling going on this scramble climb. But Hati and Cyrus make it look effortless, and you think, when you're stuck in a narrow hallway and the people in front of you are walking about the 10th the speed you want to be walking. That's what's happening right now, except you're trying to climb up this gully.
I'm gonna make a large, passive aggressive deal about talking about how good I am at it as everyone's falling around me.
Perfect. Okay. Gain inspiration.
Yay!
You guys do all get up the cliff. It's just a matter of how long it takes. And as you come up here, you get to the top and then round a soft corner. And then upon that, you see this peak here. So this peak, it has a bunch of stones around it. These aren't actual walls, but this is kind of an entranceway into it. And up there, you see faced away from you some sort of a being that seems to be made of molten rock or fire. You're not sure. They seem to be standing on 2 legs, and they seem to have hands that they're using to wave around this big open fire.
Kitty!
He's got the kitty.
Oh! What a cutie!
majestic being.
Mhm.
Truly a fire god.
Mhm.
And there is a giant cat.
We are
She's so
doomed.
cute.
The true,
Where's
the dormant beast under Mount Blood.
Oh my goodness.
That's why the wounds were curved, because it's a little claw.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh.
exactly.
they're just trying to climb the mountain.
Mhm.
Oh.
I think I've shown you guys, or I've shown some of you guys pictures of Daisy before, but she's a big loaf.
She's a chonker.
She's the biggest chunker. Oh my gosh, the jiggles as well.
Yeah. Nicole was curious, so she weighed her today, and she's 16 pounds.
Ooh,
What?
nice.
Yeah.
That's like how much Pebbles weighs.
I think a normal cat weight is like 8 to 9 pounds, so almost double.
Nice.
Nice.
That's good.
Yeah, Riley, I'm not sure how much Pippin weighs, but Pippin's pretty slim, so
Yeah. Pippin is 3.4 kilos, I think.
okay, yeah.
So yeah, like 7 pounds.
Yeah, pretty small little guy.
Yep.
Little guy.
Yeah, Pippin's quite small.
All right, now just don't get on the table.
Oh, she's
All right.
so cute.
I'm gonna cut some portion of that.
Fair. Lava being.
Lava
Okay.
bean.
Lava being seems to be waving its hands over some kind of, it looks like an open fire, but you think it's actually blood. Your reason you think it looks like an open fire is it's acting a lot like an open fire would, given what you know from fire back in your days in the material plane. And this being seems to be doing something to the fire, but you can't really tell from where you're at. You're still a little bit low down. You need to kind of like crest the corner. Your intuition is telling you that either this is a trap and you were tricked by Bo and are about to die, or this is the sorceress, and the sorceress, it was never specified what the sorceress was, what kind of being the sorceress was, and you've encountered stranger things thus far, so why not a sorcerer that's also a lava beast? That's not too ridiculous.
Sure.
I trust Bo.
I'm gonna trust Bo.
I was gonna say, I did roll for you guys' intuition.
Oh.
Hati, you're trusting Cyrus, you're also trusting Jens. Surprisingly, you're trusting that this is the right place, right time. Everyone else is starting to seriously doubt if Bo was telling the truth. And you guys were in a zone of truth with Bo.
I may believe that this is the right place and the right time we were sent to, but Jens trusts no one.
You do believe this is the sorceress and that Bo was telling the truth. The trust is up to Jens.
Fair. Excellent.
Yeah, so with that, what do you guys want to do? The being does not to appear to have noticed you. It's being quite loud.
Cyrus is going to walk up, but not past the threshold of this ring of rocks, and just sort of shout to shout over to the sorceress. Say, "Hello, sorceress. Do you have a moment?"
Getting closer, you hear the sorcerer. There's loud sounds of liquids moving and rushing fluid. I was gonna say water, but it's not water. And you notice that the primordial is, or the lava beast, which is a primordial being, is singing something, but it's in a language you don't understand. But it does sound sort of like the language you remember Samson using to commune with his son. You think maybe if Samson was standing close to where you were, he'd be able to hear it, but he's far in the rear right now and can't quite hear the sounds that you're hearing, nor can the rest of the party.
Well, I'll wait for my party to start getting closer if my initial call wasn't enough to get the primordial's attention.
I'm gonna sort of speak in a loud whisper and be like, "We're approaching the lava beast."
Well, like, keep our distance. Like, we don't want, like, I don't know what sort of ritual is happening right now. It seems like some sort of thing. I don't want to interrupt. I think it would be rude to interrupt, and I
Do
don't
you think
really
it ate the
understand.
sorceress or something?
No. I
Maybe
think
it is
this
the
is the
sorceress.
sorceress. Yeah.
The lava beast is the sorceress?
It's not impossible.
Why
I
not?
mean, calling it a beast is kind of mean, don't you think? You haven't even met them.
It
The
could be
lava
descriptive. I don't
being
mind if you call me a beast.
Have I noticed
Um,
this thing yet, Joe?
I would like to
yeah,
make
yeah.
another ins
Everyone has
insight
noticed
check.
it, Samson, and you hear the sounds. Uh, you hear the sounds the beast is saying. It's just kind of saying. It seems to be humming a work tune. It's not actually making any concrete sounds. It's kind of like that video I shared earlier of Tolkien talking. It's kind of like it sounds like it should have words to it, but you can't really pick out any particular word. It's kind of humming along, and yeah, the she seems to be doing something, but
So one more time, what's it like?
to Jens, it sounds like
Very good.
Be careful, Joe. You might
Hmm.
get your video copyright struck. That's
yeah, yeah.
um.
Mhm.
So you mentioned that I'm one of the people Samson doesn't trust that we're in the right place, that we've been kind of led astray, right?
Yes, yes. Samson is very wary of this whole situation. Although your friends do reassure you that you are in the right place and you do trust your friends, but you do have that wariness about you. The song that you're hearing, it sounds like a work tune, which you've heard people in your community hum before. Not this particular tune, but you've heard work tunes, and you generally associate them with friendlier sorts of folk and not the I'm going to murder you. You've never heard in all of your tales of heroes defeating evil beasts of the evil beast humming a sweet soothing tune.
All right. Friends, I recognize that this creature is simply singing to keep itself engaged while it works. It's not giving me any kind of threatening vibes or auras at all. It's simply singing to itself in primordial. It's no incantation or anything of the like, as far as I can tell.
Oh, well.
Oh, so you can talk to it though.
Nice.
Yeah.
Certainly, yes. So I'll say, which is hello, hello there, friend, in primordial.
Oh, I like that I'm getting a crash
Brush
course in how
aside
to
the
speak.
group and kind of walk up to introduce myself.
Nice, he fits in the door. And everyone,
Uh-oh.
no, just kidding. So you walk up and you say hello in primordial, and the thing turns around and it doesn't really have like a normal face as you'd expect like other humanoids and skelenoids do in this area. It's kind of just a couple of black dots that you think are eyes and one that moves that seems to be a mouth. And it this thing grins at you and she says, "Hello," in primordial. So you guys hear
We
I'm like
came
almost
here
reaching out to my weapon just in case.
my kind friends and I here, we're here looking for some sort of sorceress, and I couldn't help but tell that you're a particularly powerful magic user.
"Oh yes, I'm the sorceress of Mount Blood. It's pleased to meet you." And the rest of you hear I'm scaring the cat.
Oh no.
Yes, so
scared
we're
Dusty.
looking for something that doesn't have ears, or did we pass that? Mouth? We're looking for a mouthless individual, something to that effect, right?
No, I
Think
think we're
we're-
looking for somebody to heal the crystal that we
Ah, my
broke.
We're
my club.
yes.
Right. So I'm going to present the club and say, clearly, this club is not meant for anything else other than a bludgeoning instrument. This is what we came here to verify. Yes?
Oh, she, you hold the club out to her, and she gazes at it, with her black voids, and looks at it and says, "Oh my word! I never thought someone could do such a terrible thing to my creation. I can fix this though. You just need to leave it with me for some time. You may wait here if you wish to take it back to Is it Bo? Is that the cute little halfling that takes care of the sage?
Yes,
And then
Bo did instruct us to come up here and told us this was the easy path. He was right, so it all checks out.
oh, well, if you wouldn't mind handing over the club, I can fix this lickety split. And of course, to the rest of you, this is all just more metal screams.
Garbled metal.
I think at this point, considering that Samson is garbling back, Cyrus is a little bit more relaxed. Like, oh, this isn't threatening. This is just how they speak.
I'd prefer to keep an eye on the club at all times and that nothing happens to its bludgeoning utility. If
Oh,
we can
certainly. I will only request the aid of the rest of your party to help me maintain the flow of the sacred blood into the mountain. As if I stop, it's gonna back up, and I don't want anything poor to happen. So assistance would be very much appreciated. All
By
you
the way,
have to do is just
do you
sorry.
speak common? Because this is quite you and I'll have to interpret, and this is a back.
Oh, it's I could try. It's very broken. It's been decades since I spoke in common, but I
They
know
only
the
speak
basics.
commoners, you know.
Oh, I have nothing against them. I just never learned the language super well. It doesn't come up too much.
Well, we appreciate your hospitality, of course.
And so she starts addressing the rest of you and just says, my name, sorceress. I help you with crystal. You help me with blood? Is good.
Whose blood?
Why
She kind of looks at you and just kind of nods and like, yeah. Like
Perhaps
she
you could
didn't quite
elaborate
understand what you
So
said.
on
my
the
blood?
situation. What is this place?
Sorry, do you say that to her in common?
Primordial.
Okay. She says, and then answering in primordial, saying, "Oh, this is the sacred peak of Mount Blood. It's where we collimate all of the essence of the unfortunates that are sent to the lower layers of the underworld. And when their time comes, their blood is sent here for consecration as the mountain disperses it back into the world so that other people may possess this blood in the future. As it is the cycle of life to recycle blood back for more mortals to enjoy and use. Hence why it must be consecrated here at the holy site of Mount Blood."
I'm going to turn to the party and say, don't worry, guys, the blood situation is totally cool. This is just all the blood of everybody who's ever died, and it's just getting, purified so that it can get sent back and just go back into the universe for new little blood babies. Totally
Can
normal.
we get some of the blood?
Actually, that's a good point, Tati. So I just turn to the consecrator and just say in primordial, we're actually all bloodless right now. Perhaps you could help us with our lack of blood situation.
Oh, I know. It's unfortunate I'm not able to help you with that. Beings in this layer do not possess any blood, as all the blood is pooled here, and it would be against my oath to give you any. Unfortunately, as much as that does hurt me, as you do seem in need and worthy of it, but it is not mine to give, and therefore I will not.
Fair enough. Fair enough. It was an afterthought any which way. But perhaps you could explain the purpose of this crystal and what the deal is with bringing it back down to that sage, as you mentioned.
She looks at you and just says, "Oh, I would have thought if Bo sent you, he might have explained that. But allow me to. Here, I'll explain it for all your friends in my best attempt at common tongue." And she breaks from the primordial to say, "Crystal is sound sage's ears. Crystal ears good. Need ears for sage of sound."
Yes. Thank
Okay.
you.
Perfect. So
Please help.
you'll create a new crystal to replace this one that's no longer.
Oh, no. I need to remove the crustacean off of this crystal. Is it just the
I
club
don't
you like? Because I
understand
can
what
make you a new club.
I don't understand what shellfish has to do with any of this, but yes, I'd happily take another club as effective as this one, please.
I could do that for you too, but I will be taking the crystal. I'll just make you another one. It won't take too long.
Well, aren't you just a peach?
I'm still wondering what we're supposed to do with all this blood.
Cyrus is gonna take an opportunity to like, while this conversation is going on, to like, now that he knows that the blood is for other people, he's gonna like take his flask of blood and like put it back, just like dump it out into the stream of blood, like hopefully so that the sorceress doesn't see. Just be like nonchalantly dumping out of an oil skin
Roll
back into
me
the
a
river.
stealth check, please,
All
to do it
right.
without people noticing.
So I rolled a 3 on the die, which means that it is a 2.
Hang on, I got something for this.
Perfect.
Yep.
And
that'll be great if they're watching on video. Not amazing if they're only doing audio.
yeah, if you're just listening to this, I stood up, pretended to open a vial, and dump it out straight in front of everyone. And everyone notices this. The primordials' facial expressions aren't as nuanced as humanoids, so you're not really sure how she feels about this, but she doesn't voice any objection or words of, condoning
Rage,
or
the
not
fact
condoning
that
this. Yeah.
we stole some. Yeah. Okay, good.
Spoot, Cyrus.
What? You
As an
didn't see
aside,
anything.
to Cyrus, Jens is going to say, "Did you know that there was a finite amount of blood in the world?"
I knew nothing of the sort. And that concerns me a little bit.
That concerns
I
me a
mean,
little bit too.
I'm not super familiar with the material plane. I come from the higher planes, so I don't really know what it's like everywhere else.
Do you have blood in the higher planes?
Yeah,
Is it different than the blood that's over here?
I've never
Samson,
compared bloods.
Samson, is this blood only for the material plane or everywhere?
Good question. Your sorceress, is this blood only for the material plane or for other planes as well? I'm just asking for a friend.
She says in common because she assumes it's one of your friends around here. Though she's not picking up all of your guys' conversation in common because, like she said, it's not very good. She says, "This blood for all."
So what is done then when a new entity comes into the world that is in need of blood and there's not enough blood to go around?
Oh, lots of blood, mountain full.
What would happen theoretically?
She kind of like you see her black voids kind of veer down the side of what is assuming to be her head, and she looks back up and just says, "Not good things, bad, but won't happen."
Jens, it sounds like there's more than enough blood to go around, and we should be so lucky and grateful.
Okay.
I'm so glad that blood is filtered and all the evils are removed before they go back into the world. And it reassures me to know that there's purity and this innocence that comes from every newborn.
But then where does the evil come from?
I was just wondering that where does the evil go?
Also, great question.
Evil go depths.
Oh, deeper down is the bad blood?
No, evil.
Evil.
The evil that's
Okay.
taken out of the blood is distributed throughout the abyss, it sounds like.
It's excreted into the lower depths.
Is there then also, and Jens flips through his notes, is there then also a finite amount of phlegm, black bile, and yellow bile to constitute people?
She looks at you and just kind of like doesn't react. Like I said, not very nuanced in the facial
Samson, can
expression.
you
So
pass that along for me?
I don't think that's in her purview. What I'm curious about, I'm curious about is if the evil just gets excreted down deeper into the depths, that means that there's a non-zero flow of evil into the depths. So the depths is getting more and more evil with time. And the material and other planes are essentially an engine for driving evil in the underworld. Is that what the revelation that we've
Well,
stumbled
it must
upon?
all be a cycle, right? You know, the evil goes down farther, but then it ends up coming back up into the rest of the planes. Like that's how we have evil in the world. And you know, when I was in the material plane, there was plenty of evil that I saw around there. So it must come back up eventually, or else.
Well, we're assuming that evil in the material plane originates from the depths when it could originate from the material plane itself.
Can evil be
Samson,
created or destroyed?
that may be one of the wisest observations I have ever heard anyone make.
Was pretty wise.
I have my moments.
It was a pretty good one.
Pharaoh,
That's
do you
why
have any
we need
words of
heroes.
wisdom?
That's why we need heroes. To rule the world.
she kind of looks at you all as a little bit puzzled, because of the common conversation. Just says, "I know no evil. I know blood."
Okay.
How do we help you with
Let's
blood?
do a blood situation. What do we need to do here?
She starts speaking in primordial and just says, "Okay, I don't know if I'm going to be able to describe this in common. I just don't know the words,
Go for
so
it.
unfortunately, basically, what you're going to need to do is stand here and use your body heat to boil the blood." Now,
Are we?
I'm probably hotter than you, not to brag or anything, but I think if you guys all huddled together around this and
Oh, I noticed.
made some friction with your hands,
You don't
that
have
might
to
do
tell
it.
me.
Sorry?
I said, "Oh, I noticed." You don't have to tell me.
Her
But I
facial
don't
expressions
think
are
that
not nuanced enough to know she's blushing.
we're undead. If you haven't noticed, I don't know if we have the body heat to produce such a feat.
This could be an issue. Hang on one moment. And she kind
What
of,
if we used magic spells to generate a flame of some sort?
oh, that would work.
So we need to boil the blood, consecrate it, and this will allow you to decalcify the crystal. Is that
Yeah,
is that
I need to do a ritual. It'll take about, 8 hours or so, give or take. And that will heal the crystal. And then I'll probably need about an hour or so to make you a crystal-sized club that will effectively work the same as this one did.
perfect? As long as that main priority is established, then we should be good.
Yes. The priority
Um,
of fixing the crystal for the good of the realm.
Exactly what I meant. Yes. Okay, I'm gonna turn to the team. Okay, team, we need to produce heat, enough heat to boil the blood, to consecrate it for 9 hours while the sorceress does her most critical of
How much blood at a time?
good question. I think all of this blood churning everywhere that we see around us right now. How
What is
much
the
blood is
specific heat of blood?
What's the triple point of blood?
it?
Probably an answer to that online, actually.
Yep, very much. So
You guys are wondering how much blood at a time and whatnot, and then it's at this moment where you're wondering it, looking around, not seeing any way the blood's getting here. So you're thinking like, okay, there's a finite amount of blood. Where is it coming from? It seems that just off behind. So if you look at this setup here, there's a spout here, and the blood she's controlling is all in this basin. And this just squirts up a bunch of blood. And then while she's facing away, it kind of lands all around. And she's like, oh, shoot, and turns around and tries to wrangle it in with the heat. And you notice that her motion of arms and the body heat seems to contort the blood around somehow.
So it's a small quantity.
Yeah, it's like maybe like 15, 20 gallons of blood at a time. It's like a keg size worth of blood.
I
Got up like a
jump
little
right in there.
ball.
I get right in the middle. Any bits that looks like she's missing, I'm gonna try and use Firebolt to control.
Yeah, you guys could use any heat source you have. So if you have like torches or something like that, or pitch or anything, you guys could try and figure out like ways to do this. And you guys are gonna struggle at it, but you'll be able to do like an amateurish job at this. It's like it's your first day at any skilled labor position. You're not gonna be great, but you're not gonna be completely useless.
Yeah, I'll use a bit of the whiskey to give it like a little bit more extra fire as well.
No, no.
I'm wondering, just having the hooded lantern, just light that. It should go for 6 hours if I can just like submerge it, partially submerge it.
Yeah, that works.
I have
Yeah.
a
A
candle.
tinderbox?
Yeah, tinderbox can be used to light things. You'll need something for it to burn, like a fuel source.
I'll just use my torch because that's all I got.
I do have 10 torches.
There you go.
And torches, I think,
You can
last an
use
hour
10
each.
torches. Hold 5
Yep.
torches in a hand. All
Maybe
right,
for a little bit more control, I'll like use a dagger and just like pump a bunch of firebolts into the dagger until it's almost too hot to hold, and then wave that around.
Yeah, that works. That works too.
Do
Yeah.
we have like an oven mitt for the dagger?
You just like take the burn a little bit. It won't count
Well,
as like
I
a fire
I
damage,
have
but
I got a backup pair of clothes. I'll just take a t-shirt out of that, wrap it around.
yeah, that works. Yeah, yeah. Soak it a little bit so it doesn't burn.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm gonna douse my skillet in the whiskey and then light that on fire and then wave it around.
Yeah,
Hati, it's
we'll let
such a
that
waste.
work.
It's such a waste.
Jens is just cursing you out slightly.
Just imagine the smell that's gonna be just around us. It's gonna create such a pleasant atmosphere to work in with this burning whiskey.
Is there anything else in this room? So there's this kind of furnace in the center, the sorceress.
I
Oh
assume
yeah,
there's
don't
no,
mind
like,
all the minis I
logs.
put back there. That was just to mess with you guys.
Okay, so there's nothing actually back
done.
there.
No, they're rubble is what they are. I don't have just rubble, so I used all the zombies as rubble.
What
It's
kind
not
of
flammable
rubble? Like stone and stuff like that? Or wood?
Yeah,
or-
yeah, stone. Yeah, you guys haven't really seen much wood at all in this realm so far.
Hmm.
Wood, paper, all that seems to be very scarce to nowhere to be seen, except for the grimoire that Jens has. That's the only paper you've seen.
But also clothes made of fabric.
Yes, fabric, not made from wood.
Yes, but
Yeah.
still potentially flammable. We could dip in oil and light.
Yeah, it would work like that, but it won't just catch on fire
Yes,
from the heat
okay.
in this area. Yeah.
We could also just like burn the oil in a lantern so we're not burning our clothes up. Because
You know,
it has
that
a
makes more
wick
sense.
instead of
I'm
all of our clothes.
just gonna use my torch.
Cyrus just wants to not have clothes.
In
No.
character, as we're pitching this, Jens remarks that the Church of Zeral wants you to burn your clothes.
No. I have many extra sets of clothes. That's the only reason why I suggested it.
Insight check.
You can roll that,
In
Emily.
fact,
Yay! Ooh, I got a 16.
All right, Cyrus.
I was thinking of these clothes I've been wearing for a little while. I was probably going to change to some new clothes soon anyways. We can just burn my old clothes. Because like who wears clothes more than once, right?
Oh my
Like you wear
God.
them once and then you burn them or you throw them out or you give them to the less fortunate. That's what you do, right?
Burn them or give them to charity.
Same thing.
Same thing.
And there's always a need for charity clothing because all of the poor people are also burning their clothes.
Yeah, because you
After
wear
each
them
wear.
once.
Oh God.
Absolutely.
I'm starting to see the real side of Cyrus through the campaign.
It's a good side. I mean, all my sides are good sides, but
So you guys spend 9 hours tending to this blood fountain as the sorceress does some mystical ritual of transmutation magic the magic users recognize for a while on this crystal, and it just slowly starts to have the stone removed from it and the magic re-imbued into this crystal. And then after she's done that, you guys think, oh, all right, we're done. It's been 9 hours. But then she goes over to where all the rubble is and takes out some masonry tools and she starts chiseling a giant piece of stone. And you're all looking very puzzled, except for Samson.
what?
Just kind of nod.
Well, I'm sure it's all part of the ritual.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah,
crystal
some would
looks
say
fully enchanted and ready to go. It's just sitting over there in the corner.
some would say this is the most important part.
What part is
What?
this?
The
She
finishing touches, maybe, I assume.
see the crystal was destined for bludgeoning, and if that bludgeoning were not to manifest, that destiny would be forsaken, and the fates would revert, and uh, it wouldn't be good. Wouldn't be good at all.
Well, we
So
wouldn't
she's
want
What?
that to happen, would we?
yeah,
Exactly. This is
That sounds
important.
really bad. Yeah.
exactly.
And a few more hours pass, or what seems like a few hours, while she carefully crafts a club out of stone, you finally realize. And you're looking at this and thinking, maybe it does have something to do with the ritual, because that club looks exactly like the crystal did when it was encased in stone.
Maybe this is all part of the plan because if that devil comes back, we'll still have this fake and we'll make him think that we haven't restored the heart.
Exactly. Just like I said earlier.
Yeah. It's a
Yeah.
great decoy. I
Mhm.
love it.
Is it a great decoy?
Well,
Great
it looks
decoy when it
exactly
smacks
like
him
it, right?
upside the head.
But is it just
Perfect.
like the general shape, or does it actually look like the crystal?
Just the general shape. But if you were thinking to your memory of 10-ish hours ago when you had the crystal encased in stone, and now looking at this new rock that was just fashioned from the boulders over behind the, for lack of a better word, blood kiln, I don't know. It seems very similar. Like if someone was selling stone encased crystals, this could pass as a stone encased crystal based off the sample size of one that you've seen.
Okay.
Hope that
Um,
answers your question.
I hold the club in my hands and go, even though it doesn't quite look the same, it does seem to have the exact same bludgeoning properties, perhaps even more.
She looks at you and says, I think it's more or less the same.
Yes, exactly.
Nice try.
She does look at you after handing it to you and saying that and says, it's hard to say though. We'll have to see when you hit something with it.
Yes, I mean, I would have nothing to compare it to because I never really got to hit anything with the last one, but I'm sure it will do a fine job. Having been
Oh, that's
crafted.
probably for the best. There was a non-zero chance you could have broke the crystal if you swung it.
That's why I didn't, of course. course.
That's very smart of you.
Thank you.
You're clearly the wisest party member here, as you're the only one who speaks the language of the ancients.
I did a course in it when I was young. It was an elective.
Well, you're quite fluent, and I am impressed, I do have to say.
I'm quite impressive.
Again, her facial expressions are not nuanced enough to know she's blushing, but there is a pause. And with that, she relieves you of your duty tending to the blood and resumes her ritual and gestures to the crystal and saying, if there's anything else you need, you'll know where to find me. I've been here for millennia and I'll be here for millennia more. Again, when she's well spoken, you can assume she's speaking primordial.
Samson, can you ask her who would know more about the nature of good and evil?
So, are there other masters of various domains, as you are clearly the master of blood here in the depths dimension? Are there other such masters of good and evil, for instance, or various kinds of bile? My friends are quite curious.
Oh, well, you seem to be mistaken. This isn't the depths, that's 2 layers below. This is the land of confusion, which makes sense why you're confusing it with the depths. It's quite disorienting here.
That is confusing indeed.
It is. Sorry, the DM forgot the second part of your question.
Where would we find other purveyors of knowledge?
Well, in this realm, the best person to talk to is the god. Sorry, I'm just trying to remember how to say the name without reading it. I think it's Calivor. But just for the DM saying, it's, if you guys recall from months ago, there was a god named by Deirdre when she sent you all to the abyss, and it's the same god that the sorceress just named. If I'm getting the name slightly wrong, I apologize, but she says he would be the best person to talk to about good and evil, as he is the one who decides who is good and who is evil. But he won't be found in this layer, or in this layer of the underworld. You'll need to travel up one, but that's a far journey to go for humanoids such as yourselves.
Well, Jens, I have an answer for you. You'll love this. So apparently we're in the land of confusion right now, which is just one of many layers of the underworld. And knowledge of good and evil is actually decided upon by an entity in a layer above this. What did she say it was called?
I don't think she actually said what it was called.
She didn't say what it was called.
That sounds like fun. Maybe we'll go there at some point.
This is the land of confusion.
This is the land of confusion. This is the world we live in, apparently.
Well,
that would explain a bit.
Thanks.
All right. Well,
thank you for asking.
0
Samson.
answers, but that's okay.
Oh, I do have one other question, sorceress. Is this mountain a living being?
No, it's just full of blood.
Because we surmised earlier in caves that it was wounded and it was perhaps made of flesh.
That is the most logical conclusion to derive from the experience of walking the path you must have taken if you wandered through some of the inside caves of this mountain. But again, things aren't always as they seem here, and this is just merely a mountain holding all of the blood in the entire multiverse that isn't currently being used by beings. It's pretty big.
Makes sense.
Well,
and with
thank you very much for your time. We will be on our way. I suppose we still need to decide on how we're going to get down. Are we going to go back the way we came, guys, or do we want to go down a quicker route?
I mean, it's easier to go down and come up, right?
No?
Might be faster. I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing.
Well said.
I mean,
Are
if
we
you
in a
jump,
rush?
Well, I don't know how fragile uh, this artifact we now have is, now that it's not encased in stone.
So we should avoid any dubious creatures that might frequent the harder paths, the more dangerous
Maybe.
paths.
Just
I
quickly
can't.
to interrupt you guys, it still has the very heavy property where it must be carried in at least one hand at all times. Because the size hasn't changed. So just so you guys are aware that someone does need to carry this and it will count as something in their hand.
There is
So,
nothing. Sorry.
I mean, if we do it, I feel like Samson's gonna have his handful with his club, so I guess I'll have to carry it. So let's take the easy path.
Well, I'd be more than happy to carry this precious artifact. I don't use my hands for much these days.
Did you need a club to walk down with? Or walking stick?
I haven't been using my staff since we entered the body of this mountain. Out of respect, you see.
Ah,
You're so wise.
very wise. I should
I mean,
learn
now
from you.
we've found that it's just a mountain that has a lot of blood in it, and it's not a living mountain, but still very. I mean, so now you could use the walking stick, and I guess we don't need to be too worried about it.
Do you think like they just like carved the caves?
I think so. I think they probably just carved the caves, and then the blood from the walls is just because there's blood running through the mountain.
Well, the floor of the cave was mighty soft for a stone cave. I figure there's something else going on in this magical mountain, and I I'd be careful to declare it not alive when it has blood running through its veins and a
Fair enough.
soft pierced opening in it, a wound in its
Hmm.
side.
I appreciate the caution and the steps you're taking just in case, and I think that's good. Okay, well, I'm happy to take the easy path, and it didn't seem like we were ever in a rush. Hopefully, Bo's okay with us
There's,
taking a little bit longer.
on the note of a rush, there's nothing specific that hounds our heels, but I do have an anxiety that that may not always be the case in our time below here.
You think we should be not taking our duty so lightly?
I think if we take too much time at all crossroads, we may live to regret it later.
Hmm.
But it's just a feeling.
It's true that the faster we do things, the sooner we'll be able to help people, and that's always a good thing.
We also can't help people if we fall off a mountain.
I
That is
mean,
perhaps the most salient point at the moment.
We took
Like,
the medium path, and it sounded like we wouldn't be too difficult, especially going down. And if we ran into some monsters, that would be a little bit more difficult. But maybe,
Samson does want to bonk stuff, so
yeah. And being able to clear some of the this infestation, this evil from the plane wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing either.
Cyrus, I think that trying to clear the infestation of evil from a plane of evil and confusion is rather like trying to drink the ocean.
You'll just get more thirsty and want to keep doing it.
every drop counts.
Gods and devils help me.
Yes, I'm here.
Jens just starts walking down the easy path that we took up.
Does everyone
Cyrus is
follow
gonna
Jens?
Cyrus is gonna think about it for a
Immediately.
second, but like I don't get it, and then just follow along.
And I heard
Hati will
correctly
have
that.
this.
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, Hadi.
Oh yeah, Hati will have that similar confused look, and it's like, oh, okay.
We'll just give each other a shrug and be like, okay, sure.
And if I heard correctly, Vero has the crystal, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Because Vero
And
doesn't
Samson
use
has
his
the new club.
hands.
Yep,
Right.
that's right.
Of course.
Nice.
Sorry,
All right.
I've been so enamored with my club over the past 6 minutes. I've missed what you all just said.
It is a
That's all
very
right.
nice club. Very nice club.
Mhm.
We're just heading back, going back the way we came. That's all.
Perfect. Perfect.
Sorry, I'm just laughing because I set up this whole thing, but I'm like, I didn't need to. I knew there wasn't going to be a combat.
I do like
It
the
was
duck
a-
with the frog hat being just like the little guy in charge of everything.
Emily, you know that duck is my go-to large creature. It's that or the frog.
Yeah.
That
No,
duck
but-
has always tried to kill us. That's the first time the duck has been friendly to us.
And it'll be the last time.
Oh,
It was a great misdirect, Joe. We were all sure that there was a combat.
yeah.
Okay, so you guys go back down the easy path and nothing of interest or note happens while you're walking down. It just takes some time. Are you guys just traveling at a fast pace or a normal pace?
Think fast.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Sure. Yeah, you guys zip down the gully. I don't know if you guys would slide down, but you can slide down in the blood. That's a personal call. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Mud, slip, and
I
slide.
know. Jens, you have prestidigitation, right?
Yes.
So we could all wash afterwards. We'd be fine.
It's not about cleaning up afterwards. It's about in the moment. It's ooh.
But what if it'd be kind of fun?
What if we conjure some sort of sled? Surely that's not disrespectful.
We can all
It's
just
Also,
sit on
Cyrus, this
Samson.
blood has been consecrated. It doesn't currently belong to anyone.
It's not about who it belongs to or the being able to be clean or not. It's just I don't want to have blood on me.
You just think
I
it's
don't-
icky.
What about all the
you know,
blood on our hands, my friend?
dirt
We've already
is
murdered
not
so many individuals here in the abyss.
so it's important to stay clean, everyone. Like hygiene, regular upkeep and maintenance of oneself is very important.
Jens holds up his hands, which are look like they're bleeding, even though he has no blood, because as I was falling and staggering up that last little bit, I was cutting my hands open, and then the blood got into them. There's like blood up to my elbows. There's blood splashed on my face. I'm with you. I'm fully with you. I think cleanliness is used to say is next to godliness. Now I think it is more important than godliness. Though they may smite me for saying so.
Oh dang.
Yeah.
But we
Careful.
I think we get down and then we clean. I think that's the way to go.
Yeah. In the meantime, I'm going to avoid getting I'm going to try and get as little blood on me as possible in our descent.
I'm sliding down.
I'm sliding down.
I'm sliding down. Hati the
Slide
entire
down.
time is like, who else is gonna do it?
Cyrus is just gonna roll his eyes.
We could have a race.
Yeah.
You can only go. Well, you'd have to time each other because you can't go two at a time. It's like really,
Oh,
it's
that's
really
right.
narrow. But yeah,
Are
yeah.
there any like trees on this mountain? Could we
No
like-
wood.
is there anything
Like
board
boulders.
shaped that we could use as like a snowboard situation down this mountain?
Ooh, snowboard.
Bloodboarding.
Flat
A
piece
blood
of
board.
stone.
Blood bond.
You look around, and Samson's really not done well with the fact that this is a land of fire and brimstone, and there's not much in the way of wood or things that float. But you do see a particularly porous rock. It's not the
Ah,
perfect board, but with a good acrobatics, you could probably stay on it and try to ride it like a surfboard. And the worst thing that happens is you probably fall in that pool of blood at the bottom.
let's do it. Let's go for it.
All right, roll me an acrobatics check, please. DC 13.
Whee!
This is so awesome.
As he's attempting this, Vero is just gonna say, not very loud, but loud enough for everyone to hear. It might be important to remember that this blood will be blessed into the child of some creation on the material or other plane.
I'm
What
gonna clean it.
what you currently are sliding through will be a gift to a precious new creation, a bit of life where we once came from. In fact, you could even find it in your own offspring if you find yourself blessed in that way in some such time. I recommend we treat it with a little bit of respect where respect is due.
I feel
Yes,
bad as I'm sliding down now.
Same. I am actively sliding down and look really guilty about it.
No, I agree with Varro. The wicked gnar that we get sliding down this blood will indeed bless the individuals who call it theirs.
Orpheus goes down, Hati goes down. Samson says
Um,
that, and then what was the roll?
My roll sucked. Can I beg for inspiration from the flirting that I did earlier with the
Oh, did you not have inspiration? I thought I gave you inspiration this session, but maybe no, I gave
Did
Emily
you?
inspiration.
Wait, what's the one where I get to roll again? Is that
Inspiration. It's the little checkbox.
I do have it checked.
Then yeah, you
Um,
can use that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sick.
So yeah, you can uncheck it and then roll again.
Still falling flat on my ass.
What'd you get?
I rolled a 7 plus 2 is 9.
Oh, okay, that's not bad. Yeah.
Is there anything Jens can do to give Samson the help action?
Unfortunately, reasonably speaking, no. He's on a
I'm
board on
already
his
like
own.
launched down
Yeah.
this
But it's not that bad for Samson. He kind of gets on. He's stable at the beginning, but if you've ever been a noob to skateboarding and tried to go down a big hill not knowing what you got yourself in for, you start to get a little bit of wobble. And luckily for you, you don't fling off to the side. The rock kicks out from under you going forward. And I want Hati and Orpheus to roll a DC 8 dexterity save, as there is now a projectile flying towards you.
I got a 9.
Nice. Hati?
Okay,
Cool.
DC 8. What's my do I am I
Your dex should be
proficient?
pretty
No,
good.
it's +0. So let's go.
You should be proficient in dex saves though as a fighter, I believe.
Don't need
Or
it. I got a 19.
Oh, okay. Or am I wrong? Is it Constitution? I see a
It's
Constitution check.
Constitution.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
I'm wrong.
Constitution and Strength.
It's like I've never played the game before.
You don't have everything memorized all the time?
No, I have literally
on,
nothing
Joe.
memorized ever. Okay, so you guys both successfully, Orpheus just by the skin of your teeth, avoid this thing. And it goes billowing forward off the side of the mountain. And then Samson,
no.
you just kind of cruise. You fall a little bit on your ass, but it doesn't hurt your tailbone or anything. You don't take any damage from it. And then you just kind of scoot down like Orpheus and Hati did.
Nice. Sick gnar.
I'm gonna
Not
look
bad.
over at Hati and be like, that was pretty cool, right?
It was pretty fun.
I
Feel
kind of
a little
regret not trying.
bad, but that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I'm sure it has like a self-purifying mechanism or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also, what's the likelihood that this blood just turns out to eventually come back to us after we go back?
Yeah, it's probably nothing.
Does the rest of the party avoid the blood? I'm pretty sure I know what Vero and Cyrus do, but Jens, you've kind of flip-flopped on this one. I'm not sure. Are you butt scooting down like everyone else, or are you taking the high road?
I'm scooting down. If I try to
Okay,
take the
butt
high road, I'm gonna face plant into it anyway.
All right. Then the two that are not trying to avoid the blood, can you please roll me, I believe it was a DC 12 athletics check. You can use acrobatics on the way down if you would like to, if it's better. But it's probably the same for both of you.
That's a 14.
I'm gonna use an inspiration. I rolled an 11.
Yeah, you can do that, Clay. You can spend your inspiration.
Both times I rolled a 12, but I have -1 athletics and got 11
Oh,
both
No.
times. So that is an 11.
A couple of times on the way down, your foot does slip, and to avoid falling, you kind of land square into the little river here. You take it out, but you do have one foot that's coated just a little bit past the ankle in blood. Yeah.
okay, it's not the worst. It's
It's
not
not the worst.
like some of the others.
Like some of the other shade.
God damn.
Well,
Okay.
call it like you see it.
So you guys get down there. Jens prestidigitates the blood as much as he thinks is
Yes.
necessary.
As well. So on each cubic foot, I'm going to do 2 prestidigitations. And I might do this as we're walking just to save us a little bit of time. The first one is to clean the person, like get it out of our clothes, get it out from under our fingernails.
Right.
The second one is to clean the blood, and I add a little prestidigitation effect to it of just like a little golden glow.
Yeah.
So it looks like I am re-sanctifying the blood.
To do the blood that's in the pool, you can't do it as you're walking just because you're kind of having to use your hands a little bit to get down this gully. But once you're at the bottom, you can totally do the whole pool there, make it look fancy.
Yeah,
and
because
nice.
it's like I'm taking the blood out of the clothes, and then the blood that was on the person then gets cleaned.
Yeah.
Cool.
So Jens cleans off some of this blood, rings some of it back into the well here, and you guys continue on your way. Fast
Look, it's
tracking.
fine. It's like it never happened.
Well,
Yeah, sure.
but it did happen, and we all know it happened.
And
I
a little bit of
appreciate
blood
the
has now been
steps you
destroyed
took.
from the universe.
You
Oh
know,
no.
Sorry, the what?
Oh, because when you prestidigitate, you clean the blood off the people. So like it's kind of like the dirt when you prestidigitate just kind of gets removed, right?
It doesn't levitate and then drop beside when you prestidigitate. It's just gone.
Wait,
It's
it
just
destroys it? It destroys things you prestidigitate?
It doesn't specify, like it says instantaneously clean or soil an object no larger than 1 cubic feet. So, maybe it's just like on the ground somewhere on this mountain or something. It's unclear exactly what happened to it, but from your perspective, it's gone. Whether or not it's actually gone, if blood is like energy and can't be created or destroyed, is unclear.
Okay, then I'm gonna try something. I'm going to use the soiling effect and try to soil some rocks with blood and see if I can conjure blood out of nothing.
Fair question.
just don't do it in anywhere that's near the stream of blood, because we don't want to mix your non-consecrated blood attempt with the consecration flow.
Well, no,
So you use
here's
prestidigitation and you're thinking, I want to put blood on this rock. And you do the stuff with prestidigitation to make it be soiled, is what you're thinking. And also to make it look like blood. And then as you're doing this, you're second guessing yourself. Kind of like when you know something, but now you're just questioning everything you know. And you're thinking, wait, am I just
it's
making
gonna
it
screw
look
the
like it's
spell
blood,
effect.
or is it actually soiled with blood? And now you're not certain if, like, when you use prestidigitation, if it makes synthetic blood, if this is an illusion to look like blood. You're just questioning everything you know about magic.
You no
Great,
longer know the
great. So
spell
just a normal day
prestidigitation.
for Jens.
Just a normal day for Jens, questioning everything he knows. Lovely.
Accurate.
And with all of that, important scientific procedures followed vis-a-vis blood and what we know about it. You guys head down the mountain. Nothing eventful happens on the way down. You guys get to the base, and then you do spot in the distance the same warden of these lava rivers, but he's far enough away that unless you call for his attention, he's not really going to come to you. So you guys can just traverse path back the way you came, and it'll take you as long as it did before, which you're again still unclear if it was several hours or several days.
But we've already made paths to cross the sections of the river and stuff like that, so we wouldn't have to rebuild paths this time.
If they're still there, yeah. But some of
Yeah.
them at the beginning you're seeing are kind of there or kind of been moved around a little bit, so it's a little bit
Okay.
easier. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And yeah, so I'm assuming you guys don't call over to the lava river warden, as you didn't like him the first time. So why would you like him the second time?
I still want to steal his boat.
We can do that later, maybe, but not right now when we have precious cargo.
Mm-hmm.
We have stealing things at home.
Steal things in the material plane. We don't steal things in a plane of confusion, apparently. It all gets very confusing. I don't know.
So you guys take the path you took on the way here. You wander back, you wander to the gorge, and you slowly descend through the easy path that you came up through. And you see Bo there, and as you get closer, you hear him like saying stuff of it's too far away for you to make out what he's saying, but he's clearly talking to the gorge. And then he sees you coming, and he says, "Oh, good, you brought the crystal."
We sure did. Vero, I think you've got it there. You want to do the honors?
Yep, Vero will walk up to Bo. Maybe not give it to him. Maybe I'll keep
He
going
kind of
to wherever
gestures
that
for you to put it
pedestal
in the
was.
hole. Yeah.
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 I'll go gently place it in the hole.
Nice. As you do, you see this I think it's blue. There's a picture of it that I generated for the last video, but I think it's blue. You see this thing glow up and start to shine with bright yellow light, like the yellow light that was in that hole below. And Bo's face lights up with a childlike wonder, and he just looks very, very happy and pleased, and just looks at you all with great respect and admiration and says, "Thank you. You did it. I'm so proud of you. I had very little respect or hope for you succeeding at all. And I'm so happy that you did. So I have so much respect and hope for you that you can help the last sage."
Why, you're welcome.
know-
And
I'm
he
so glad that
You
we could
are-
help you.
You are such a wonderful person. I'm sorry I was mad at you before, but I hope this makes up for it.
That's fine. I really don't care what you think of me. You did the right thing, and that's what really matters.
Yeah.
I put
Hell
my hand
yeah.
on Bo's shoulder and just say, "Yes, Bo, I'm also quite pleased that I still managed to get a new club out of this whole situation. And if you talk to the sorceress and she asks about me, then just tell her that, I'm interested. She just give her my number or something. More people.
He
Hey,
looks
tap down
endlessly
here.
confused. Says, "Number? What's your number?"
How do people usually stay in contact over distance down here?
Well,
Some sort of. I'll come back when we're done with quest, and I'll come back. Tell her I'll be back. It's
oh, ah, okay. He looks over at Jens and says, "Give me your book. You can trust me." And he takes your book and
Wait. I was about to give the book, and then he was like, "You can trust me." And I hold on to the book and flip through it until he tells me what page to stop on.
he says, "No, I need to write in it." You can trust me. I'm not gonna rip out any pages.
Insight
to a-
check.
I'm gonna roll this one, Emily.
Okay.
Your int mod is positive? Something, maybe? Hopefully?
Hang on.
Yeah.
The intelligence one or the...
Yeah, okay, so but you're proficient, so you get +0. Okay, cool. You've heard Bo talk enough now at this point that he's just got this weird personality quirk where he will say the thought he has of what he wouldn't want someone to do and tell you he's not gonna do it. Even though it seems suspicious, that just kind of seems how he is.
Okay. Just be like, Jens, I think he's fine. He's harmless.
I flip to an open page and brace the book on my lap so it's easy to write on.
He says, "Fine. Guess I don't need to lick my fingers." And he opens up his cloak a little bit and grabs a little quill and then rummages around in his pocket for a time and pulls out a little inkwell, uncorks it, and starts writing in beautiful cursive into Jens's spellbook. And when he's done, he says, "There! Now, you can't use it, but it's a spell. And if you ever are able to find a paladin or a cleric that's good, not like morally good, but just, can do stuff." And he kind of looks over at Cyrus.
Hi.
Just a little bit of shame.
Everyone's so mean to Cyrus.
And just says, "This will be able to let you know if things are good or evil." And Jens, you actually recognize it from your days as a cleric. He wrote in the spell detect good evil.
Excellent.
However, it's not a spell that wizards can cast normally. That's why he said the thing about a cleric or a paladin. So even though it's in your book and it's a level 1 spell, you as a wizard aren't able to cast it. But maybe something could happen where maybe in certain moments, a little bit of your clericness comes back, you think, and maybe if the moment's right, you might be able to cast it. But you're not sure. You're learning that this land is weird and confusing, as the sorceress told you.
If
Very
you
interesting.
need to, Jens, at any point, we can pray together over it, and maybe
He looks
you'll
over at... Sorry, go ahead.
maybe you'll be able to figure out who's really a good paladin with some guided prayer.
Bo looks over and says, "That probably do it."
Yeah, great, thank you. Thanks, Bo.